All right, so I had this video being recorded, just going around talking. So I have a blank stage right here. I won't even go, just whatever. I don't know why it stopped recording. So I got a blank slate right here, parking spot. Trying to determine what I need for my Ford Escape to build out that, and then subsequently my box truck, which that's a future problem. I mean, that's so far from getting tooled out that not worried about that yet. But what do I need for my roadside assistance? Like I said, battery service, fuel delivery, wheels and tires service, like flat tire plugs. Patch is a whole separate thing. I know the whole conversation about that. Patch is better. Patch and plug is the optimum solution there. And then lockout, not locksmith, not cut and key, just pure lockout. Not sure why the video cut, but I am gonna go shopping in my own garage for all these tools. You guys have seen me buy tools. In recent months, I've bought duplicates of tools, right? 2 or 3 of the same things. And it sucks because then you could have been buying something else, but there's a rhyme or a reason. Anyway, the video cut as I was going around taking up tools and seeing what I needed. What tools would you guys recommend for that stuff? Obviously, I don't really want to be on the highway, but if I got to help somebody, I'm willing to help somebody. I think it's just like driving on the highway. You got to think smart, you got to think safe. You just expose yourself to extra hazards, I guess, when you're stopped. You see in the vehicle, it's kitted out with some lights. It has a recording camera now. You got some flashing lights in there. But when the video cut, I was going around picking up some stuff and thinking about safety. These are some of the things that I picked up initially to build out this service truck, work truck, support vehicle. So fire extinguisher. You need one for yourself and you need one for others, right? So I have several fire extinguishers. These are cheap insurance and will eventually, I might even get a bigger one. I have a bigger one over there. But I probably want to leave these and just buy ones for the service vehicle, because the ones that I have at the house and throughout the storage unit and in my sheds and whatever, I have them there for a reason, and I don't want to start taking away from those just to build something else out. But this will work for now. Those will get replaced. If anything, I know where the closest fire extinguisher is. Well, I hope I do, in case there's ever a fire around here. Knock on wood. Is there wood? No wood around here, huh? I know there's a piece of wood around here. Even like a hammer. Well, am I really looking for a piece of wood right now? I was thinking I do have a hammer with a wooden handle. But anyway. So, fire extinguishers. You're probably not gonna put out a Tesla or EV, but if someone can't, throw dirt on their car, to put out a fire in an engine bay or something, or a wheel well, then you might be able to toss them a fire extinguisher. Secondary thing you got flashing lights, you need to be seen. So we got a class 2 safety vest here, reflective vest, hasn't even been opened. Picked up from Home Depot, just walking through the aisles. Then obviously you need some gloves. This is for small stuff. I need to get a construction one of those like heavy duty gloves, because you got like shredded tires. Those things are just gonna punch through this and cut. I mean, this says cut level 1, but I'm not sure what. Yeah, I'm not too smart on the cut levels or stuff, but those bigger, thick gloves, I'm gonna get a set of those for like shredded tires or something. But this offers more dexterity, and you could just, cars are dirty. In the video that deleted, I mentioned a guy that was working on a pickup truck and his thing slid. The jack slid and the wheels weren't chalked. I assume they weren't chalked, but that could have been bad for that guy. Luckily, he's good to go, and I think it's a lesson learned for him and for everyone that saw that video. So definitely some wheel chocks. We're not talking heavy duty stuff. We're talking light duty passenger type stuff. And so those Harbor Freight jacks or chocks will do. Obviously, it's night. You just need to be seen. You need to get some light on what you're working on. This will do. Portable. We'll get some batteries in here, some chargers, and yeah, this will be good. And this is just one light. We might add another light to this. So thinking safety, what else would I get? Safety wise, I have a list on my phone, and eventually I'll consult that list and see. You know, obviously I'll throw a second glove there or something. I have quite a few gloves. They're cheap because you just never want to, you want to have gloves stashed, and you want to put everything back to where they were previously so you can find them. But if you lose one or something, then you're not left stranded with bare hands or without a reflective vest. So safety. All right, so this is exciting. Tools, I got tools everywhere. All right, so let's just cut to the chase and grab some tools that we can see inside. So we mentioned lockout service. Well, that's I think it's the SPR Access Tool SPR Pro. It's their Pro Series lockout kit that has all the bells and whistles in there. All the bells and whistles. So I have, you see me, I mentioned with the inflator tire pressure check thing, buying stuff in twos. Well, I bought one of these a long time ago, and when I thought about building a secondary service vehicle, I picked up a second one because it was cheap. I want to say I spent like $220 for that, and this was like $3 something. The first one I bought was like $3 something, and the second one I bought was like $220. So if you haven't seen these, this is the lockout kit from Access Tools. I'll do a video on all this stuff in more detail. And as we're talking about lockout stuff, I see something here. Actually, you never know if you have to service like a F450 or dually or something. And so these, I believe I got 2 of them. Yeah. Yeah, I got 2 of these bad boys. And what we can do with these, actually, we can swap these out. Sorry, I don't have the best light over here. We can swap these out. Yeah, we should be able to swap these out for some longer ones, just so we're kitted up for whatever situation, comes our way. I don't know if I showed this earlier, or it was a previous video that kind of self-deleted, or stopped recording midway, but I bought 3 of these. And so we'll just go with the one that's already unboxed. We'll swap this out just to make it longer. I'm not sure. Obviously, one of these is going to go on a service truck, so it doesn't really matter. But any mini manimo, pick a puppy by his toe. If you ever let him go, any mini manimo. If you never heard that before, let's just go with a Blue Point. I think they're the same length. Yeah. And it's funny because one says Napa and one says Blue Point, but they're probably the same thing. So yeah, so we'll swap these out just to have something that's more universal. And this one will go on a service truck. Like I said, this stuff is fun. Now that I'm doing it, while I'm looking here, while I'm shopping in this store of mine, there's a random thing right here on this shelf. Look at this. This is a inflator. Wow. So, are we gonna have an inflator? Doesn't matter what brand. I can tell you, probably doesn't matter what brand, but this actually has. Here's a side story. So, if you buy this under this flagship brand that you see here, they're gonna sell you this for like, I don't know, $70, $80. And then the ones with the longer whip hose, they're gonna sell you for way more expensive. Just buy this one with the short whip hose, and you should be able to unscrew this right here, and you can buy a longer whip hose, and just make sure you have the quick connect. So we're gonna add this to my list. And some of this stuff might get swapped out because I have different ones. But when I say different ones, I mean, like, who knows? I might not want to beat up all my fancy stuff when you know, the cheap stuff will work. And so I might have to come in here and I might just get the Astro. Look at this. I might just get the Astro AI, because do you think people care what you have if it works? No, but some of us will say that's more precise. And yeah, it might have a different feel. You know, the Astro AI, or who knows, we might just grab this Steelman. No, I won't grab the Steelman because the Steelman doesn't have the quick connect. So this is for home use. And I don't really feel like changing out that fitting just to have that one. But again, we're building a service truck and we're building this thing, and then we might be building another thing. So I'm not sure if it's going to be a automotive type thing for the third one, but there's options. We got options. So we'll put there. We'll see what we like. First thing that I can tell, this has a bigger paddle on it versus this one. So we'll see. And then, you know, all this stuff I'll test out and see what works for me. All right, we're doing well. I think people are gonna enjoy this video. While we're here, so this huge this huge like lockout kit. It's supposed to be universal, but obviously new cars are coming out. And something I noticed it didn't have was, this is for a Tesla. So I don't own a Tesla. I don't want to say I'll probably never own a Tesla, but I don't have a desire, but I have something for a Tesla to unlock it. Obviously you don't want to crack someone's glass, you know, so maybe we'll find some cars to practice on, because a lot of this stuff I've never done before. But anyway, we're adding to our master kit right there, right? And we'll keep adding to it. One of the things that we need to add to this, Access Tool has a light. Say you have a tinted car or something, it has like a suction light that you can put on the windshield to see inside the car, help you see inside the car, so you can find stuff. Additionally, if you're unfamiliar with lockout stuff, this thing has a book in there. So, and in most cases, I'm pretty sure, don't let people tell you that they don't look up videos on YouTube prior to looking at going to jobs and stuff. I'm not gonna be ashamed about doing that. All right, what is this? This is a Slim Jim. And if I'm not Slim Jim Pro, and again, I have 2 of those. And so we're gonna put one right here, because this kit comes with a Slim Jim Pro, but I think it's slightly smaller. So we'll put that right there. I only have one of the Tesla because they only had one in stock, so eventually I'll have to pick up a second one. All right, stuff is getting exciting. I don't know. We might need this bad boy. Yeah, not really. Not right now. That might go on the big truck though, the box truck. You know, because the box truck is supposed to be universal, covers everything. And then this is supposed to be for 4-main service and a support vehicle. And the box truck is gonna have everything that this thing has. It might not be the same brand, same look, same color, you know, same battery voltage, same size extinguisher, but effectively I'll have everything, you know, just so one vehicle supports the next, and you know how that works. All right, what are we right now? I'm just looking around. All right, I see stuff. So this is a personal thing that I have with when I see people doing some types of work. So a vacuum. So I've used this around the house. This is my DeWalt, you know, working on a tile job, doing all this pretty much. You know, if there's something under the sink I need to clean up real quick, this is my go-to. I hardly ever use this, but it has, what I like about this is it has the cord. But, you know, in most cases, you don't need a cord for what you're doing. But I do like this about the DeWalt. The Milwaukee has the pack-out version of these, or the regular ones. It obviously uses their battery, M18 battery. And what I do like about having a vacuum, say you go to a customer's car and the battery terminal is completely covered in the acid and all that stuff that's caked on there. Like, I think attention to detail and, you know, doing a job that, well, some customers don't care, some will care, and some will notice. If you can vacuum that stuff away and then, you know, maybe use a brush to scrape it while you're vacuuming, that will suck it up so it doesn't leave a mess. And then you can spray that battery maintenance preventative acidic thing that we're gonna grab right here. So how we're doing this right now. We might need some brake cleaner. I think that's good to have. I think brake cleaners is good to have. Start-in fluid. Okay. So let's just go segue. We might need to help someone, you know, seeing if they have like a fuel delivery issue. And so I think start-in fluid is good. So we'll add that to my list. But going back to this whole battery conversation, and as we see stuff, we might cut to it. And again, we're gonna go back to that battery conversation. But say you have a customer, or maybe you see somebody on the side of the road, and they're overheating. Well, it's nice to have some distilled water. And again, this stuff is all stuff that I've thought about. It's on my list. Well, this says spring water, but it should be distilled water. Anyway, I want to say still distilled water. But instead of having coolant that's going to leak out, you might just be able to get them home or to a shop or something if you give them a jug of water. So I'm going to pick up a jug of water. And then it's just good to have some water to wash your hands, maybe for drinking purposes or something, emergency. Water. Lifeline. Obviously, if you're in a colder climate, try not to use water because then it will freeze and crack your radiator. But for the most case, if it's leaking out, yeah, I think you're fine. Batteries. So after you use a little brush to clean up that battery stuff, what is this? Carburetor cleaner? No. Parts cleaner. So, say you clean up all that gunk. Well, you're gonna need maybe some battery cleaner here with some battery corrosion preventer. Again, these are all my stuff that I've had throughout the years. But again, yeah, I keep my stuff maintained, and these stuff will continue to, you know, be used on my stuff, and they'll pay for themselves. So that's why I have a vacuum. And then if you have a mess in your service vehicle, you can vacuum it up, you can clean it up, you can keep that stuff looking clean, you know, looking presentable. And so that's why I want to have a vacuum, just to clean up battery terminals. And talking about vacuum, oh, I'm glad this is open, because, you know, we might need some cheap brushes from Harbor Freight or something. These are already in there. And this is just for cleaning up battery terminals. We're not talking about cleaning up rotors or something. If you're going out there to change a tire, you don't have time to clean up a rotor. That's a different job. This is just to get them back on the road. That stuff was messy before you got there. And so you just need a brush to clean up some battery terminals. There we go. Man, I don't like that my stuff is gonna look, start looking, oh man. Looks like I need a vacuum. What is this? Yeah, I'm gonna take this out. That's not my style. I don't live like that. But yeah, some batteries, some brushes, and again, I'll pick what I need. Because like I said, I'm building 2 trucks, so I'll pick what I need to get started. because I don't need everything. Well, I don't need multiple of each individual thing. All right. Is there anything else in here that we might need immediately? Not necessarily. Not that I can think of. So we're building out our service truck. Stuff is looking good. All right. We might need to repair some what do you call it? Some battery terminals. Super 33 plus, Super 8. This says super thicker for heavy duty use. I'm just gonna go with this one. Anyway, some electrical tape. You might need to tape up some exposed wires or something so it doesn't shock you or shock the customer. But this stuff is good to have. We're just thinking out loud right now. You know, I'm not going there to check AC and doing all that stuff, but pretty sure there's something else in here that I will need. We'll come back to it. Meanwhile, we're at it. Again, this is not going to be the end all be all. The end all be all, but I'm just thinking out loud. We might need ourselves for battery testing. We might need ourselves a multimeter. So let's just put this right here with some leads. What is this? This looks like some leads with alligator clips. We'll throw that in there. We'll see. I might be pulling stuff from other stuff. See, I don't want to overthink this whole stuff and go excessive because, you know, we're talking about tires and brakes. You want to see brake temperatures and stuff. That's not what this is about. So we'll leave that. This video is getting long. We're just spinning around, pulling stuff. All right, let's add some exciting stuff to this. Whenever I hear sirens, I always hope that whoever they're responding to is doing well, especially when the weather is inclement weather outside. So I don't know. That's just how my mind works. All right, we showed this in a video yesterday. This greasy, oily Snap-on pry bar, 36 inch. This is my second one, and so you don't need, you just never know what you need a pry bar for, and I think a 36 inch will work just fine. We got the Mayhew big dogs over here. I know you can't see them in the light, but you can see how tall they are. You don't need those for this. That's for the service truck, and so I think having one of these. I went with the 36 Snap-on. I could have went with Mayhew. I mean, I have. Did I buy an extra one? I mean, yeah, I did. So that's that. But as for the truck, but say to help you, like assist you to lift a tire, that might help you, or it might help you bend something back or something. So I think a decent little pry bar is good. We'll go visit and get smaller ones later. What else do we need? Eventually look at batteries and chargers and stuff. Oh, here we go. Let's go with some sockets. So you never know what you're gonna come across. And this right here is for Mercedes-Benz. It has that flower type design in there. So sockets, you'll need a lot of different specialty sockets. So I only bought one, and it's a 1/2 inch drive CTA. So I'm gonna eventually buy a second one for the service truck. Because like I said, the service truck should do everything that this thing can do, plus way more. You think I should put my little trim clip tool on there from the little Matco one? We'll come back to that. So I think this is more This is not really what I bought that for. I really didn't buy it for any reason specific. All right, stuff is getting exciting. Oh, I was over here. Since we're on the topic of trim clip tools, you know, should we put this trim clip set on there? I think we should. Why not? Because eventually I'm going to use one of these pack outs for all the smaller miscellaneous stuff. You never know under if you go under a hood or something. A lot of them have these covers and stuff. You might need to pop some trim. At least these are indexing trim clips. So pick this up. You know, green. Maybe we'll keep these in, kick that to the curb for later. But yeah, looking very colorful. I think people are liking this video. I am liking it. I worked like 2.5 weeks fixing that Ford Escape. I still have some work to do, like I previously mentioned, but yeah, I'm starting a new year, a banger, a new me, exciting times. All right. Just looking right here. This is the Wheel Bullet 24 pack from Access Tools for your Euros that don't have the wheel studs. And so it just helps, you know, I mean, the pry bar will do the trick instead of having to screw one of these in, but I think they sent me this one for free and told me to leave a review, I think because it's cracked. But, you know, depends on your size thread. You just, obviously you don't need all of them. This is if you're servicing the complete all 4 wheels, but it's good to have, you know, if you lose one or something, or if you're changing out multiple tires, you know, it might be like a tire rotation or something. It's not necessarily a road call for a flat tire, but yeah. Man. Work hard, you can have all the stuff, you can, and you'll have, I mean, this is life. This is not what life is about. Like, this is not what life is about. But when you work hard, you can have stuff, and you can share stuff. And this is not all about making money. I guarantee you I'll help more people just by having the ability to help people. And this is not to help people and put it on video and show it off to the world. This is just to genuinely help somebody. But at the same time, it's going to be a business primarily. And the reason I say that, and plenty more videos will be released on business and all this stuff, because I'm going to be learning it, I'll be sharing it. This is not like forming a school community or anything and charging people for information. This is all information that I've, you know, done the dirty work of finding, you know, recently started using ChatGPT and AI to access more information, have it, you know, weed through the information for me. But this has all been like encyclopedia type level school. That's the era that I'm from. So I remember I asked a question about something about, hey, what tool was that in a video? And somebody was like, oh, figure it out yourself. Yeah, no. Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for life. Give a man a fish and you'll have to keep giving to him day after day, year after year. Something like that, right? So anyway, stuff is getting fun. The video is getting long, but I think people will enjoy it. People are already saying, get this, get that. Yeah, please put it in the comment so I can see it, I can read it. But I have a list on my phone, and this is just, I'm just looking at stuff. While we're here, we'll add to the list. I'm sorry, I can't show this while I'm lifting it. Well, an air compressor, and this is the Milwaukee, whatever, little 2-gallon one, plug-in. Like I said, I bought a second one of these. It's behind that door. Uses a battery. We'll get a battery in there. All this stuff I'll eventually function test, make sure it works. I still got to get a hose for it. I bought a 6-foot kind of whip hose. Obviously, that's overkill for what I need. You could get a little battery-powered, smaller ones, but I wanted this one. It's not loud. It's just personal preference. And who knows, I might get a smaller one eventually, but for now, this works. I think the difference with the smaller one is that you can just set the pressure and let it go, versus this one you got to air it up, you got to hold the trigger on this to inflate it. I mean, that's the only thing that I could see the difference, but it seems a little bit more versatile. And so we need air. I'm gonna get a battery put in there eventually, and like I said, I have the whip hose to connect to the air chucks, so that's good. We're doing good. What else can I think of? I can't tell you the amount of times I have arced a ratchet handle from a battery terminal to the frame of a car or to something else. It scared the living heck out of me. And so I was looking for an insulated socket set, and that's why I bought this. And this should be my first go-to in terms of working on batteries or anything. Obviously it's used. It's a little bit bulky, but if it keeps me from arcing, then this will work. And it has a little extension in there. For all intents and purposes, it might not work. I just need to be more careful with, you know, the ones I already have. I'll close this up a little bit so it's not just laying here and everything is gonna go sideways. What's going on? There we go. But that's the idea behind that, just batteries and stuff. So, cause yeah, I've welded a time or two using my, just changing out batteries. All right, exciting time. What else do we need here? I can see this says Access Tools. I do know what it's for because it's a recent purchase. This is a damaged wheel socket. So this one has some odd sizes. Well, not odd necessarily. This is a 17. This is a 19 or 3/4. And then we have a 21, 23. I want to say this is a 27. 26, that's the odd size. So I'd love to have a 27. I have my eye on a kit that potentially has that. Then this is the thing to drive them out. So damaged wheel, lugs, that's one of the kits. While we're talking about that, here's another set of tools that I picked up. This is the spline drive ones. This one is not open, but this is for SUV and light truck sizes. So you got 22 mil, 7/8 and 15/16. So this goes here. And like I said, buying multiple size or more than one. So I have some of the stuff. I have 3. All right, so here we go. So these are your standard sizes, your 17, 19, and 21. Like I said, I will go through and I'll make a video on all this stuff later. I'm just doing this right now for the heck of it. And so these are your spline. And obviously they have the sleeve protector because, you know, some people, like me, I care about the fanciness of my wheels. I know some people don't. It also depends on the vehicle. Some vehicle I don't care about. Like I care more about my Acura than I care about my Tacoma, but I care about my Tacoma equally in a different sense. Anyway, going off. I think I'll end this video. This is gonna be a long video. We'll see. I won't go over an hour. So, battery jump. You absolutely need to be able to jump someone's car. And I had picked this up and I mean, I can charge my phone. I can charge USB-C, I guess. It's funny because I picked this up and I was at my storage unit, and there's a guy that he has a storage unit across from me, and never really talked to him before. But he walked up to me and was asking me if I could pull my Tacoma over, and he has jumper cables, and you know, he would I think he said he got to the storage unit, he left his keys at home for the storage unit, but then he had shut off his car already and it had died. But I guess he has a jump pack in the storage unit. So yeah, I was like, hey, I got a jump pack, I'll come over, hook it up to your I think it was like a, was it a Toyota? Or it was a Honda CR-V, I think. And I just gave the guy a jump and it started right up. It was my first time ever using that. So that's a jump pack. Talking about jump packs, well, you can't just have one jump pack, right? Because what if one fails? Well, you need, at least in a sense like that, you need a backup jump pack. There's something that I've spotted that was not included in my, this door is still hanging up. I need to get it fixed. Come on. If you need a battery jump, you need more than one, and this has been my my go-to. It'll probably be my go-to, you know, my no-so, just because it's more portable. Looks like it needs to be charged. So, nice to have a case, contains it, looks professional. And so, we'll have that. We might have an additional jump pack. Saw my, not sure if it's in this video or the previous one. I think it was in the previous video I deleted. But my Legacy DeWalt, loaned it to somebody and hasn't been the same. Zip ties. You never know when you might need zip ties. These are Harbor Freight zip ties, and they're not that decent, but I mean, it's either you use them or you throw them out. So you never know when you need to help somebody because their tire blew out and their bumper is hanging off, and the zip tie will help hold it together while they figure life out. You know, you just might make their day. So I need to adjust this door. It keeps catching. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff already, and I have lots more to go. It's gonna be kitted out, ready for any situation. We're gonna go in that bottom drawer before this video ends, but before that, we're gonna come over here because something just popped in my head. Well, of course something popped in my head. You do need some wipes for your hands, just for your own cleanliness. Yeah. So we'll add this. I think I do have some more tub towels laying around somewhere, but at least you need one with you at all times. Stuff that I can think of. All right, let's not get carried away. Let's focus here. We were gonna come over here. I have something else in mind, but for now we'll go with safety glasses. I took one out here already. It's up there. So safety glasses is important, just like gloves, reflective vests. We'll have safety glass. You only get one set of eyes. All right, stay focused and grab what you came for. And what I came for was this here. This is your Koken 3-piece 17, 19, 21. And you might say, well, where's the 22? Well, this comes as a set of 3. It doesn't come with a 22, but I guarantee we can find a 22 around here somewhere. If we go back to where we were just now, push some stuff over here, dig down in here. You see that we have another set of this one. See, we buy stuff in twos. Ooh, look at this. 2 Koken 22 millimeters, right? So let's just grab one. We only need one. And what I do like about these, they got a protective sleeve right there. They're offset, so if you're using a torque wrench, you don't like, your hands aren't rubbing on someone's body panel or someone, you know, or torque wrench potentially scratching it. So it has that offset. I think Sonex recently came out with some long ones. You know, they've been rebranded by Matco, but I mean, these aren't cheap by Koken, but I do like them. I've used them half-inch drive. So we got full set of wheel remover socket for your standard stuff. Already, I know about a half sizes. I have something. Let's think battery. Let's go back to batteries while we're at it. Again, there's no rhyme or reason to this, but you need a battery tester. I think the unfortunate story behind this tester that I heard, someone had passed away and the spouse was selling this. I used it, it works. I think it has a printer on it. Might be able to go with something smaller. It's that brand right there, or model. But, you know, when you're trying to test batteries and alternators, I see a lot of people who just, someone's car's dead in an intersection and they'll give them a jump and they'll drive off, and it could be the alternator. If you're testing a battery, you need to be testing the alternator also. That's just, they work best together. They don't work like solo. So anyway, 42 minutes. We're doing good on time. One of the reasons why I kind of been hesitant about doing this, really not hesitant, but putting this stuff off, is because I want to still be able to park in here, and this takes up a lot of space. But it's just part of the whole building process. I do know that I need something out of here. I do know I need something out of here. Well, for one, we might need a hood prop. And so, yep. On my personal vehicles, I keep the hood props in shape so I don't have to deal with this. But if you're having to troubleshoot someone's battery, you want to have a hood prop. You can have the stick, or you can have, we'll probably come back to that at a later date. So you can have the stick, or you can have, where is it at? The ones that clamp onto the posts, or the struts, sorry, not a post. No. So again, having the right tools for the job. This one, I probably need to get a streamer so I don't accidentally bend someone's hood, but hopefully you'll remember to remove these and you won't like bend someone's hood or damage the already blown out hood strut in front of them. So we have options for holding up the hood. Additionally, you could get a vice grip. Yeah, we'll get to stuff like this. Does this? Yeah. This doesn't have any batteries, dead. We'll come back to that. I am in here for a reason. I do know why I'm in here. Just haven't determined which one I want. So, you don't need that light. So I'm thinking about a 1/2-inch drive ratchet to use. We don't need a serpentine grabber tool. It's the problem when you have multiple. Well, actually, let's go with a breaker bar. If I could go with my Mueller reversible ratchet and breaker bar, but I don't want to go with that. Here's one that we could go with. I want to say this is an SK. It's a 1/2-inch drive breaker bar. Yeah, we could go with that. Or we could go with our standard issue Harbor Freight. Or something else, whatever this is. I'm trying to fix this, the mat also. Oh, we got another one up there. Sorry about the angle of this video. I'm trying to hold up this lid at the same time. So we got breaker bars for days. I think if we're gonna use a breaker bar to remove a wheel, this one feels, it feels sturdy, but I feel like the length of it would make it snap. What's this? It seems like these Harbor Freight ones have proven their worth time and time again. It's a comfort grip handle. I have 2 of them. You can warranty them out. But I feel like for the length, we might, we'll see. I mean, we might go with two breaker bars. They're both 1/2-inch drive, fixed head. You can see one is slightly longer. We'll make a determination. We know we have more than one Pittsburgh. It's gonna bug me how this thing is drooped up. Come on. Oh, it probably slid it slid from the front, so I need to fix it. Anyway, that's a off-camera problem I have. I'll fix. But yeah, breaker bars. You know, in case you, so the reason why you want a breaker bar, again, I feel like I'll make a video about this later. Say you're removing a damaged socket lug. You don't want to use an impact. You kind of hammer the stuff on, you know, whether this or the, you know, this one. Not that one, sorry. This one. Say you hammer this on. You don't want to use an impact. You want to feel the thing turn in. And so a breaker bar is where you need, or what you need, sorry. All right, so we're making money. We're doing stuff. I don't have any fuel cans in here. They're in my shed and they're in my storage, but I have a diesel and I have diesel and regular gasoline. So you won't see that in this video because it's not worth my time to go to the shed for that stuff right now. Obviously, these are the stuff that's just immediately jumping out at me. I said I was going to go in here, but it's locked. Yeah, but guess what? We can open it. We have a set of keys. Just got to find which one works. Which one works to open that. And the reason why we're going to open this is because 49 minutes. I said no more than an hour or so. But I think this is fun. I think people are just seeing random stuff. Some people are going to say you have too much. I agree. Part of the problem with having so much tools sometimes is that you spend time thinking about what tools you want to use instead of doing a job. And that can become a problem. And then since we opened that up, I have a crazy little key thing here, like a shed and just random stuff. I need to sort this out, but I think I'm the only one that knows how to use this whole thing. When I say knows how to use it, I mean like knows what key to go for initially. All right, so we'll come back to batteries and chargers. And see, this might be the air chuck to go with, but you know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll pick our favorite. I don't know. It's not that serious. We'll come back in here. Ooh-wee. We got, is this the 14.4? I mean, this might be nice for like quick work. We'll put this down as a reminder. Well, this has the little hex on it, the little hex adapter. So that's why we have that. The jury's out. Because this is a bit longer than, we'll put this down and we'll come back to it. And I'll tell you why that might not work for me, because, I mean, it will work, but for what I'm thinking, I could think about something that's more versatile than hitting this thing. We'll come back to this. I thought I was gonna find what I needed in there, but I have this open while I open that drawer. Can we think of any pliers that you would need to assist someone? Only thing I can immediately think of is an exhaust hanger. No, obviously not. But if you don't have a pair of these, the time when you need these will come in handy. Like, I want to say this is a Lyle, and I've used it once, and it made the work so much more enjoyable. Probably won't use it again. The only thing I can think of is this. I want to say this is a Tecton. So if you got to pull nails out of a tire, I think this here will. I mean, you don't care about the cutting edge that much. I think this will, like, you know, you can do it at an angle and just grab the edge, or you can just do it on the flat face. And so we'll add this to the arsenal. Is this Tecton also? Yep. I don't know if you got to cut something from the side. I don't know. We'll put these to the test. And again, these might not make the final cut. I'm just going off stuff. I have multiple stuff, so I'll see what eventually I want to put there in this place. I want to say that's a Klein. So maybe, I mean, I'd say the other one can do the same thing. So eventually we'll find the pliers we'll need. I think I was looking at something in here, but I lost sight of it. Anyway, we'll come back to pliers eventually. All right, look at this. Pry bars. Pry bars, pry bars, pry bars. I would like to keep stuff as a set. You know, I don't want to have them scattered. Like, if I have them on the truck, I have them on the truck. If I have them on the car, I have them in the car. Like, I'm looking at these Milwaukees, but I guess who cares if they're like broken up? It might be nice to have a small pry bar. I'll consult my list. I'm pretty sure it'd be nice to have a small pry bar, but I think the big 36-inch for what I'm thinking of is, is good enough. But having another pry bar could be beneficial. I mean, I did pick up these 3-piece. We'll see. It's a good problem to have. We'll come back here for extensions because I want to be able to have like a complete set of extensions. I really don't need the long ones for what this is going to build out to be, but I think, yeah, we'll come back here. Just make sure we have a good selection of extensions. Ooh. Well, this drawer was a mess. I totally forgot about, but I do know what I could use out of here. If you plug a tire, and you need to cut off that little excess piece that's sticking out. I really love these Swiss. They're very sharp, and I mean, yeah, you can open a can if you want, but yeah, gotta have those. These panel poppers, this is probably something cheap that I don't know. This is a gear wrench for Lyle or some aftermarket brand, but I don't know. We'll throw this in the lineup just because we have stuff. Just use stuff. We have it. Anyway, we'll come back to this. What is this? It's another one of them things. I just looked at the color and I was like, oh, this looks the same. It looks slightly the same. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Except one has a wider open end, the next one doesn't, so we'll leave both of them. I'm not gonna leave both of them in there because they're pretty much the same thing. All right, 57 minutes in. This might be the last thing that we visit. So, if you go out and you buy every generation of power tool, which I haven't bought Milwaukee's 3rd generation. I think I have 1 or 2 things in there for that, but I really haven't. But at this point in my life, what tools do I want to have? I kind of want to get rid of these. I'm going to try them. I'm going to see. I've already bought them, used. We'll see. They seem very underpowered, and I might just put them through the paces at this point just to have them, because they're already used and abused. Like this guy, we'll see, because I do have a couple batteries, so we'll just leave those for power tool ideas. And yeah, this is stubby. Let's see. Okay, so here's the one I was thinking about, 14.4. And so we'll do that. We might just put that back. Again, this is round 1 of like, here's what I think I need, but this is all the stuff I think I need based on the fact that I have everything under the sun. Yeah. So power tools, we'll come back to that. All right, let's take the last minute 10 seconds, minute 15 seconds to look at this stuff. I'm not going to talk about everything I picked up. You've seen it. I'm doing like a once overview right now. Obviously, these are all the stuff that I've just kind of walked around in this open area and picked up. There's still stuff that I need to grab, and I will. But for now, this will work. I think as far as having like a universal kit of sockets, I think I might go with this Husky, or I might use my Milwaukee. Well, that's I think a 1/4, 3/8, and there's a 1/2 inch over there, vice versa. But anyway, that's the idea. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna build this stuff out, and we're gonna get the rest of the stuff that we don't need. Like I said, I'm trying to build 2 vehicles. This one, the Ford and the box truck. More to come. This is, I mean, it's a lot of work, but anything that takes a lot of work is usually rewarding, hopefully. Anyway, an hour has passed. More to come. As me always say, like on anything.